For an escape, our buyers sometimes request a renovation project.
As soon as I walked in here, I thought, yeah, she's gonna like this.
Yeah, and I do.
Pinpointing just the right amount of work can be tricky.
I was expecting to have to do a lot more work than some paint.
But once we've overcome those hurdles, and we usually do...
It's a serious consideration.
Is it?
Yeah.
Music to my ears.
Our escapee dreams can become a reality.
My work is done.
Our work is just beginning.
The Welsh Borders, home to some of the most dazzling and resplendent landscapes in the UK. When I'm house hunting in the Welsh Border region, I like to try and stay neutral. There's the Welsh countryside. Over there is the English countryside. I'm glad it's not part of my job to advise our escapees which country would suit them best. If there was a fence here, you know I'd be sitting on it. Today we're exploring the Welsh county of Powys and its English neighbour, Shropshire.
Shropshire is a beautiful county. It has everything for everyone, really. It brings out the community. There are community-created events for children to older kids. There's walking, sports, arts, music, all over the county. Mountains, rivers, forests. So really, there's a community everywhere for everyone to choose from. You're not restricted to one place. You can head out to try different things. It's wonderful.
In the heart of the Shropshire Hills, just a mile and a half from the Welsh border, sits the town of Bishop's Castle. Several of the buildings here boast uniquely painted facades. There's the spotty house, the bold frontage of a top live music venue, and several homes and businesses which sport elephant motifs in memory of the many circus elephants who were moved here to safety during the air raids of the Second World War. Just over the border, the small Powys village of Berriew is prized for its pretty black and white buildings, more than 100 of which are listed due to their architectural importance.
You can go off exploring the market towns, the nearby hills and footpaths, or you can just sit back and just watch the world go by and listen to the birds or the sheep. There's many more sheep than birds right now, I think.
This really is a lovely part of Britain. I'm just glad I don't have to be the one to decide which side of the border to live on. That is for today's couple to worry about. The thing is, I get the feeling that for them, it's going to come down to the property and its setting. Let's meet them and find out what's on their shopping list. This is 27-year-old Rosie.
This is my van that I built myself during lockdown. I've lived in it for the last 2 years.
Currently, Rosie is parked up in a West Midlands campsite with her beloved van called Betty, near to where her partner, 28-year-old Phil, lives.
This is my parents' house, and I've lived here all my life and continue to do so whilst we save for our move to the country, which we are extremely excited about.
Rosie, a sound engineer, and Phil, a musician, met 2 years ago whilst working on a national musical theatre tour. Now they're looking to buy their first home together.
My countryside dream would be taking a house that is derelict and maybe needs a little extra bit of love and turning it into a home for us both.
So, the derelict, the better. No. For me, it's about the setting, the land that it's in, because having such a love of nature and wildlife, I want to be able to do something for nature and wildlife with the land that we have. Everything that we love will be right on our doorstep. Walking, wildlife, gardening, veg. We won't have to travel to do any of those things. And crucially, and most importantly, we'll be living together.
Rosie and Phil are after a character property with enough space for 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. They'd love a renovation project and 2 acres of land so that Phil can establish a wildlife-rich habitat. They've saved hard for their first property and have a budget of £400,000.
What's really interesting is that Rosie and Phil don't want a turnkey property. They don't seem scared to renovate, to make changes, to do things from scratch, which hopefully opens up my options completely. I think this is going to be a fun house hunt.
First things first, I'm meeting Rosie and Phil for a chat. How are you both?
Very well, thank you.
And more importantly, how's Betty?
She's good.
Does she know you're looking elsewhere?
She's coming with us, don't worry.
Aw. But you must be craving space.
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of things you can't do in a van that you can have with a house. I'd like to have space to do for my hobbies. You know, I like baking. I don't have an oven in the van, so I'm making cakes on my gas stovetop, which comes with its challenges. But yeah.
I get the impression that this was one of the key things that aligned you both when you first met, is your sort of love of all of this.
It is, yeah. We both enjoy a ramble and
I mean, our
in
second date
nature.
was on a nature reserve, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So, yeah.
Got lots to explore, lots of houses to see, some interesting people to meet. You ready to house hunt?
yes.
Very exciting.
Let's go. Our search begins in Wales, in the Powys village of Kerry. The 800-strong community has access to a village hall, a church, 2 pubs, a local store and post office, and a primary school. A mile from the village centre, we find our first property, a semi-detached, Grade 2 listed black and white farmhouse. So at the end of the farm track is your first property. And it's the black and white timber framed.
Yeah, I love the black and white.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's really, really nice.
It's quite a treat as you walk up, isn't it?
Very much so. It's very striking. It's certainly got the character that I like.
I'm eager to see what it's like inside.
Let's head in. The original house was built in the early 1600s and has been added to and reconfigured over the centuries. We're entering via the most recent addition, this light room to the side of the house. So there's a little summer room there, utility, and then the kitchen.
Look at these beams. That's exactly what we were wanting with the character.
I literally love the beams. And I love how open it is as well, because when you have an old house, quite often it's like a cluster of small rooms.
Well, it used to be like that. So the current owners have totally opened up this whole space and they've found all of this wood. I'll show you more of that later, but they sort of, this used to be the old outside of the house.
They've done the hard work.
Yes.
They've done some of the work, but as you can see, I think it sort of now needs to go into a new phase of its life as a house. Follow me. This is where you can see the original exterior of the house. The timber frame is just stunning, isn't it?
So that used to be the outside wall?
Must have been where a window
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And they've just kept it. That's the great thing, they've kept it.
It's keeping the character all over the place.
I think that's why this is my favourite room of the house.
I haven't even looked at the room yet.
Yeah, sorry, look down.
We're not sitting room people, are we, really, I suppose? We're always doing things, so we never actually just sit and do anything, do nothing.
So maybe with Betty the van, you've not had somewhere to sit.
With the van, I'm not very used to having a space
Clothes
purely
dumping
for sitting.
We'll get you a space
Here it is.
for sitting. We're making our way upstairs now, past more of those fantastic 400-year-old beams, to check out the bedroom accommodation.
This is the biggest of 5 bedrooms.
Wow. 5? It took a while to process that.
Too much?
It's more than we need, but I'm sure we could repurpose the rooms.
More than I was expecting, for sure. How many kids are we having?
Decision.
I mean, this, again, it's a wonderful space. It's nice and big.
I was expecting to have to do a lot more work than some paint. This is the kind of floor that I would expect that I'd have to find under many layers of old carpet.
Yeah,
but it's already here.
It's already been done.
I've hooked you up. The hard work's been done. You've just got the pleasure of kind of making this an absolute beauty.
And what a beauty it could be. Also on this floor is another good-sized double bedroom. Next to that is a smaller double, and across the landing, the family bathroom. Another flight of stairs leads to the second floor, where there are 2 further bedrooms in the eaves. Now to turn our attention to the outside space on offer.
This is the time we get to look at the view.
Yeah. And what a beautiful view it is.
Across the farmyard, there's a useful former pigsty.
Any dreams of keeping pigs?
Not really, no. Might be nice to have some animals.
Maybe chickens.
Chickens, yeah.
It marks the beginning of a path that leads down to, wait for it, 2 acres of woodland.
You wanted trees?
Ta-da!
An
Trees.
entire woodland.
Certainly.
It's wonderful, and you can hear the birds singing now, so
It's a little haven down here.
it is. This is an escape.
Are you ready for the guessing of the price?
Now we've seen all this, it massively changes things. It's got to be close to budget, so I'm going to say on budget 400.
I was going to say 380.
Okay. £400,000 versus £380,000. Phil is spot on. It is on the market for £400,000.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
This characterful Grade 2 listed black and white farmhouse has a large kitchen, 2 reception rooms and 5 bedrooms. Sitting in an elevated spot with stunning views across the Kerry Vale, it comes with 2 acres of land and is on the market for £400,000.
Actually quite shocked for what we're getting for the budget. All of this land, 2 acres of woodland, 5 bedrooms in the house is a lot. And I can envisage in the sitting room where the piano would be and what we'd do down here. So really pleased actually, and it's a great start. It's a wonderful place, wonderful setting, the view over there is fantastic.
I see so much potential for the house. I love the character. It feels like this is such a gem of a house in that these features have been preserved and celebrated. My slight reservation about this property is that though there's obviously 2.5 acres of land, which is amazing, it does feel quite separate from the house. You can't open the back door and be greeted with your land.
Snuggled deep in the serene Shropshire countryside is the small town of Much Wenlock. If it sounds like it could be a place in a Harry Potter novel, just take a stroll around its medieval streets where you're sure to experience the magic of a bygone era.
It's a wonderful little town, isn't it?
Cool building.
More than 100 of them are listed. There's the striking black and white timber-framed Guildhall, built in 1540, and this beautiful example of a hall house, with its intricate wooden detailing dating to the 1400s.
This is a nice building. Very nice.
Much Wenlockians might sometimes describe the town as being a little off the beaten track, but that's a big part of its charm, and actually the M54 and Telford, with its mainline train station, are about a 15-minute drive away. And with a fair wind, Birmingham is about an hour's drive.
which Wenlock is a very small place in the middle of nowhere, but it is very famous for the fact that it held Olympic Games. On this site, in 1850, the first Olympic Games were held.
Yes, you heard correctly when local GP Dr. William Pennybrooks instigated a sporting competition to promote the moral, physical and intellectual improvement of the locals. He became the inspiration for the modern Olympic movement.
In 1890, Baron de Coubertin came and was inspired to form the international committee that holds the Olympic Games that we know of today.
The Wenlock Olympian Games still take place in the town every July, and the Olympian Trail is a leisurely one. A quarter-mile walk around the town, it takes in various sites associated with the Doctor and the event.
I bet there's quite a good view from up here.
Probably.
Windmill Hill is one of the spots on the trail, once popular with Victorian Olympic spectators who would purchase hillside seats and watch the games on the field below. Today, it's a popular and much-loved beauty spot. Joe Jukes, a volunteer for the charity tasked with preserving both the windmill and surrounding land, has kindly agreed to meet with Rosie and Phil to fill them in about the exciting plans for the area.
This is a wonderful spot. You can see the whole town from here.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful spot actually, and we're standing on a really important area for nature and biodiversity, because we're on a limestone grassland and meadow, wildflower meadow, that's actually one of the most important places in the county to see orchids. We've got nearly 6,000 that we counted last year, and because of that, because it's such a species-rich environment, we're actually in the process of it becoming a local designated nature reserve for the town. So it's really exciting progress to preserve this landscape and everything that it brings.
It's refreshing to see.
And they'll get to see more of the region's impressive landscapes when our house hunting resumes first thing tomorrow. It's not often here on Escape to the Country that houses are too nice, a little too perfect, but that's where we are with Rosie and Phil, so I need to shake things up and go wild with the mystery house. But let's whet their appetite first for a project. We're making our way to the Shropshire hamlet of Newton-on-the-Hill now, 8 miles north of the county town of Shrewsbury. Middle is the nearest village, and here you'll find a church, a primary school, the village hall and a pub. Just a 5-minute drive away on the edge of Newton-on-the-Hill is the property we've lined up for Rosie and Phil to view. And here we are, the next offering.
First thing I noticed is the little stained glass window.
Good spot. It's not huge.
Window on the thing.
But it's pretty.
It's really pretty. They think it may have been a former chapel,
Okay.
but I do not have confirmation on
It does have
that.
that vibe about it.
It does, yeah.
Doesn't it?
Wow.
It's gorgeous.
Well, it's certainly got a lot of character. Very quirky.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
Should we head in?
Yes, please.
This detached property, thought to be a former chapel, was built in the 1880s. It's been rented out for some time and is now empty, so I'm confident it'll make the perfect project for our creative couple. The front door takes us into a spacious entrance hall, then through to the first of 2 reception rooms. As soon as you walk into the house, you get a sense of what needs to be done.
Yes. Nice fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the shape of the room as well, it's not just a square, it's got this
I don't know what.
pentagonal shape.
I'm not a mathematician.
3, 4, 5. Yes, he's right.
Well done. I'd love to see what's under the carpet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Should we head into the kitchen to see what the floor is there, and then it might
Yes.
give you a little bit of a hint, because it just connects here. This is where we'll need your renovation brain.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, this is a condition that I was expecting and maybe surprisingly hoping for.
As soon as I walked in here, I thought, yep, she's gonna like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do.
I'm liking the shape. It's got this the symmetry of this room as well.
Yeah, it's an odd shape, isn't it? But I like it.
Yeah, very hard to say.
But it has the quirk I know you're looking for.
It's not straight and square.
A second reception room on the opposite side of the hallway is straight and square. It's also pretty big.
Massive windows.
Yeah, huge windows, wonderful.
Another fireplace.
Yeah, big fan of the big windows.
And something tells me they'll be fans of what they find upstairs.
Good noises.
Ooh. Ooh. Getting church vibes now.
Yeah, that's coming down, isn't it?
Okay.
I'm glad they found the wall that definitely needs to come down. She's happy.
Big window.
Such a gorgeous window, which has unfortunately been half
good view here too.
covered.
This stud wall was built to create a second bedroom next door.
It would be a huge room
It,
if you knocked this wall down.
it would,
But yes, it would be nice to make the most of that window.
definitely.
Wonderful. What else is there? We could definitely make the most of this as well. Oh, so extra beams because this is the end that's shaped.
Like, yeah,
I like that. I really like that.
This bedroom at the rear has good ensuite potential, seeing that the family bathroom is right next door.
walk-in wardrobe.
Yeah, or just a little studio, like photography and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
This property isn't listed, but any changes would still need the relevant planning consent. Outside, there's just over 1/4 of an acre of land. This includes a large area of hard standing at the front, formal gardens that surround the house on 3 sides, several workshops and outbuildings, and, further away from the house, a much wilder area for Phil to get to grips with.
It's not perfect, but it would be a nice project to work on.
You don't want perfect though,
No, I
right?
don't want perfect.
That's
Exactly.
the point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that like the house, it's not perfect, but it's got so much to work with.
What is it on the market for?
Well, this is a bit different as it's detached. There's a fair bit of land. It's going to be top. I'm going
Yeah,
to say
it's gotta
on
be.
budget again, £400,000.
I mean, just to be different, I'll say £390,000.
It is on the market for offers in the region of £375,000.
Wow, okay. That's a surprise. That's a real surprise.
At that price, would you go for it? I know we have a mystery house to go.
It's a serious consideration.
Is it?
Yeah.
Music to my ears. Music to my ears.
This detached Victorian chapel-style cottage is chock full of character and period charm. It has 2 reception rooms, a kitchen and utility, 3 bedrooms, and over 1/4 of an acre of land. It's on the market for offers in the region of £375,000.
This property really feels like somewhere we could live, somewhere we can call a home, somewhere we can invite friends over to and have a lovely time, share this wonderful place, the view, the garden with them. I think Rosie's feeling really good about this one.
I love this property. I am struggling to think of anything that it doesn't have. It's even got a workshop, kind of ready to go. So yeah, I'm really excited.
They've emerged. I thought I wouldn't be able to tear you away. But away we must go.
It's a shame, because can we just move in now?
Can I get that in writing?
If a new life amongst the Welsh Borders is calling you, here's the lowdown on property prices in the area. The average price of a detached house in the UK is currently just shy of £454,000. In the English county of Shropshire, the same property will set you back around £417,000. Hop over the border to Powys in Wales, and the price drops again to a little under £332,000. Let's take a peek at a selection of what else is on the market right now. This immaculately presented detached property occupies a beautiful spot in a popular village with 2 receptions, a kitchen breakfast room, a conservatory and 4 bedrooms. It's on the market for £675,000. If you want to try before you buy, this Grade 2 listed 3-bed thatched cottage is available to rent for £1,200 per calendar month in the captivatingly named village of Eton Constantine, near Shrewsbury. Or how about a romantic getaway in one of these individually designed glamping pods? Inside you'll find a table for 2, a kitchenette, a shower room and a double bed. Outside, a private hot tub has magnificent views across the Shropshire Hills. Prices start from £150 per night for 2 people, with a minimum 2-night stay. It's Mystery House time and we're heading back to Wales, to the Powys hamlet of Llanrhaeadr, 4 miles northwest of the small market town of Llanfwllyn. Rosie and Phil are taking a mooch about the town, which serves its 1,500 or so residents well, with a church, a small supermarket, a GP and pharmacy, as well as a couple of pubs. A 10-minute drive from the town, in a remote position on the side of a hill, we find our final offering.
While Rosie and Phil are off exploring, this is probably a good time for me to reveal the mystery house to you, because it's actually not a mystery house. It's a big barn.
Well, it's several actually. Built in the early 1900s, full planning permission has been granted to create a 5-bed family home.
The possibilities in there are endless. I know Rosie's imagination, her mind is going to go wild. Of course, I'm wondering if this is a step too far, but that's the point of the mystery house, right?
Phil will be thrilled to learn that it comes with just over 5 acres of land.
I know that Rosie and Phil would be reluctant to tear something down, but if they did not get rid of this tractor port, they would not be making the most of the views that come with this barn.
It is a gargantuan project, and I'm not entirely sure how it'll be received. Time to find out.
Rosie has a look on her face like, what have you done, Sonali? Welcome to our mystery offering, because I cannot call it a house in good faith, can I?
Not exactly.
Mystery barn?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's up for a barn conversion?
Yes.
Rosie wins, her hand went up first.
Okay. You can pay for it.
Hands up!
Yeah, as long as we didn't have to knock it all down and start again.
The preference would be to keep as much of it as possible, so in line with your ethos. I have the plans here.
The proposed ground floor layout features a large lounge, a spacious kitchen diner and an entrance hall, of which is a separate utility and the first of 5 ensuite bedrooms.
So watch the nettles.
The remaining bedrooms would be on a second floor off a galleried landing, part of which would be open to the roof, with views down to the kitchen diner below.
But you're not daunted by a barn conversion?
No.
There's a hesitancy in that. No.
Slightly daunted, but enthusiastic. Is that okay?
Everything is okay. There is no wrong answer here. This is a project on a next level, and it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's really exciting.
You'd be up for something like this?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't know how much work it will be.
Do you have friends in the right places?
We do actually,
we do have
yeah.
friends in good places.
Being able to employ people you know and trust to work on a project of this size is clearly a bonus. I'm giving Rosie and Phil a bit of space to make sense of it all.
Oh, this excites me more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With the structure.
Yeah, because you can see the beams.
See all the beams, yeah.
And things.
It's quite hard to envisage with the way it's divided up at the minute. The prospect excites me, but I'm struggling to envisages rooms and things.
A national building website estimates the average cost of a barn conversion at around £1,700 per square metre. Of course, this amount will vary depending on the condition of the barn, the quality of the materials used, and the amount of work you're willing to take on yourself.
And I wonder how many floors you'd get out of that bit.
I'm not sure, but when I've seen things like this before, and you have like a bit more of a mezzanine as opposed to like a second floor.
Yeah.
And it keeps it open.
I don't wish to overwhelm Rosie and Phil, but we've still the not so small matter of 5 acres to deal with.
A whole lot of land, eh?
I mean, that's the real dream for me. I mean, all of this. The wildlife.
See, I'm here to make dreams a reality. That's my job, Phil.
I'm aware that it's a lot of work. It was something that I would love to do, but I wonder. I mean, I guess it depends on the price. If our budget would allow for us to get the help, the real help that we needed.
Shall we talk money then?
Rolling.
Yes. It's difficult. I'm going to go in at £300,000.
I'm gonna be optimistic and say £250,000.
Optimism was a good way to go, Rosie. It's on the market for £200,000.
Wow. That's really encouraging, actually, because then it leaves a substantial amount of budget to then...
At least get started on something.
Yeah. It seems like it could be affordable for us.
My work is done.
Our work is just beginning.
These barns, built at the turn of the 20th century, have full planning permission to be converted into a 5-bed family home, complete with just over 5 acres of land. In a remote yet idyllic rural spot, the barns and the land are on the market for £200,000.
It's thrown a massive curveball into our decision making, because we were so enamoured with the last property. But this is the real dream, you know, starting kind of from scratch, totally making it our own thing.
I mean, you did say at the other property that the only thing that could be better about it was if it had more land, and this has the more land.
This is delivered.
But it does come with considerable more amount of work.
Rosie and Phil are fully on board with their relocation to the Welsh Borders, but should they need any more inspiration, they should take it from Vicky and Ovi, who escaped city life for a move here to Powys.
This is our house. The ground floor used to be a post office and the basement was a sorting office. And then if we look upstairs, the top 2 floors are our flat.
In the spring of 2022, having sold their 3-bed semi in southeast London, Vicky and Ovi bought this Grade 2 listed property in the Powys market town of Hay-on-Wye.
We have 2 cats, Audrey and Cooper, who moved with us from London. They love looking out of the windows, looking at all the people milling around hay.
Thought to date back to the late 1700s, the property had been empty for about a year when they moved in. It needed a complete renovation, a project which they are very much right in the thick of.
This is the back of the building where you can see sort of better just how massive it is. They're nearly there, nearly there. And that is the top of it. It's absolutely huge and there's so much work to do, but it's going to be amazing.
The plan is to turn the ground floor and basement into shops, which the pair will run. For now, Ovi works part-time in a local bar and restaurant, allowing him to devote the rest of his time to the refurbishment. Vicky works full-time making trailers for TV programmes.
As far as successful moves to the countryside go, Vicky and Ovi's is right up there. They have all of this, the River Wye,
on their doorstep. I need to hear how this happened. The couple lives just a 10-minute walk from the banks of the Wye in the very heart of Hay, surrounded by cafes, restaurants, shops and, of course, bookstores.
Hello.
Vicky,
Hi.
how are you?
Good, thank you.
Gorgeous location.
I know, it's amazing. Coming in.
You've done well.
Thank you.
They're giving me a tour of their home first. The second floor houses 3 bedrooms, whilst down on the first floor there's a bathroom, a kitchen diner and the living room. Oh my word, it's like walking into a magazine.
Thank you.
I love what you've done with the place.
Well, yes. What we haven't done so far, really.
What have you done with the place? Because I don't know what it looked like before.
We've peeled off layers of it.
Yeah, so we've stripped everything back and we're going to leave some of it how it is because it looks really good, but we need to fix a few bits and bobs in here.
It's raw.
Here and there, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely raw, yeah. Everything's been stripped. We're in the process of rewiring. We've had new sort of gas pipes put in. Ovi does a lot of the work himself.
Well done, you.
And then we have sort of specialist people in to come and help with things.
What was resurrected first?
The chimney.
Yeah, that was...
A lot of pointing at the back of the property, pointing in lime, quite a lot of it.
This is a mammoth project. The building totals nearly 3,000 square feet, and since moving in 14 months ago, all their time has been spent rewiring and replumbing.
I think when we saw this, it was in our budget only because it needed work. And if this had been done up, there's no way we could have afforded it.
Were you daunted by that in any way?
Yeah.
Every now and again that feeling keeps creeping up.
You look like you're having it right now as I'm asking the questions. But worth it?
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Just one day at a time.
Yeah, indeed.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love Vicky and Ovi's courage and ambition, which extends to their desire to eventually change their careers by utilising the commercial spaces. Great commute to work, eh?
It's not bad, is it?
The ground floor was formerly a post office, where they want to create a record shop which music-loving Ovi, an occasional DJ, will manage. It's a big old shop.
I know, it's massive, isn't it?
Wow, so many bits to it, and then you've got downstairs.
Which is exactly the same size, yeah.
This basement, the former sorting office, will become Vicky's shop, although exactly what she'll sell is still up for debate. How long do you think all these renovations will take? House plus
I would say 3 years.
Yeah. We're hoping a year for the downstairs spaces, and then the flat will do sort of over time.
And I guess more pressure to get things open.
Exactly.
That's it,
Make
yeah.
some money from the building. It's a bit sort of daunting, but it's really exciting at the same time.
Creating a new home and carving out new business ventures takes time and dedication. Thankfully, when Vicky and Ovi do get time to unwind, they get to do so here. Could this be any more gorgeous?
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
We still pinch ourselves and say,
Yeah.
we live here.
Yeah, we do that all the
Do you
time.
live here? Do you know that?
Yeah.
You do look very, very happy, but then I didn't know what you were like before. You may have been very happy in the city.
Oh, we were miserable, weren't we?
What was the push point for you? What did you want to get out of this?
I had a family tragedy, and I think we just felt like we needed more peace in our lives. And so that was the big impetus for us to actually do it rather than talking about it.
But we're both really happy and we're very, very pleased with our choice, I think. So,
Yeah,
Here you are living the dream.
exactly.
Or building the dream, actually.
working on that.
One room at a time, one floorboard at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
I suspect Rosie and Phil would want more time to ponder their next step, but you know me, I'm impatient, so I'm going to dive right in. Well, this is nice, isn't it?
This is very pleasant.
May I be so bold so as to ask you what your next step may be?
Well, we're hoping to view the old chapel again tomorrow, even though
the barn conversion is amazing and would be amazing, and the land for you was spectacular, wasn't it? And the view was incredible. The amount of time, effort and money it would take to realise it might be slightly beyond us, and we don't necessarily want to bite off more than we can chew. That's
Yeah, I would agree. I think it goes without saying that the mystery property is what I envisioned in my head as being my dream, to completely transform everything, the land, the building, into our own thing. But I think on this occasion it's a case of practicality over dream. I think we have to be practical about it. It's just a slight compromise on the land, rather than having a nice garden and a wild space, which we could have in, you know, abundance at the barn. It's going to be more a garden with wild elements.
I like this sensible thinking.
I think we're being practical and sensible.
Yes, but also you were full of joy in there.
Maybe, yeah.
You were full of joy in
Not
there,
forget that,
and there were so many pluses to it.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous, character in buckets, like, yeah.
One of the things that excited me the most about that property is I can imagine bringing friends to it and sharing it.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. I think that what we want as our dream is to be postponed for now.
We've got a practice run potentially first. But it's not like we wouldn't be happy there. I feel like we'd like...
Yeah, it's such a lovely place.
Beautiful.
Well, the very best of luck with the second viewing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your help.
Well, the Border region certainly has served us well over the past couple of days. Any one of our lineup could have been a mystery property. They all had quirk and charm. I am glad we chucked in the wild card that was the actual mystery property, because it made Rosie and Phil realise the scale, the magnitude of their dream. And in the end, practicality kicked in, which is no bad thing as first-time buyers. And that second viewing has fallen on the English side of the border. It's very exciting news. Fingers crossed it all works out. I wish them the very best of luck. See you next time. Rosie and Phil did return to the chapel and made an offer. A week later, they upped it, but sadly missed out. Undeterred, their search continued, and 2 weeks later, they found a two-bed 1960s detached property with 4.8 acres of woodland in Powys. I'm thrilled to say they secured it, and they hope to be in within the next couple of months. If you would like our help to escape to the country in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland or England, why not apply online at bbc.co.uk/take part.